Hi everybody, my name is Ronaldo Quintero, also known as Reiq, and today I'm going to be showing you the process of coloring and painting this artwork of Alita, Battle Angel. This was commissioned by a Patreon, and I was in charge of creating this and had a lot of freedom creating this artwork. I did a lot of sketches and different ideas for composition, and then I settled for this composition of two characters. With this illustration in particular, I try to push myself a little bit further in trying to explore other ways of painting and other ways of approaching my process. If you have seen my previous process, I usually lay flat layers of different sections of the illustration, and then as I go, I start merging them, and then I keep everything separated with a lot of selections. And I've been trying to explore more the painterly side of the illustrations since I've been practicing a lot for this competition called Limits, and it's about speed painting. I've been trying to actually change the way I approach my illustrations, and I wanted to take the time to actually try to do this here with this illustration. And you can see that I started laying the colors already. I had the colors already planned in my head, so I went and then I started applying the colors for the overall feeling. Then I moved to the other character that's gonna be in the front, and that's gonna be like the main character of the illustration. So my point here is try to make this main character pop and then have the background of Alita as well, but try to separate them somehow. And something that I've been struggling a lot, or I haven't paid attention for a long time, is value. I actually know about value, but I didn't give the importance that it deserves. I focus a lot on drawing and getting a nice drawing and getting a nice form, but I haven't had the willing effort to study more about value and try to understand more of it. And I realized after many years that not having the correct values, it makes your illustration unbalanced, and it makes the read of the figures harder. And I guess I've been eyeballing it for a long time. I have a good sense of how I can light the characters, but there has been plenty of times where I have a lot of struggle, and actually I didn't know how to solve this. And I thought it was about coloring or colors, but actually it was value. And I've been realizing that I really need to focus on that, because it's a really important piece of knowledge for fundamentals to create any kind of artwork. And if you know how to use the values to create a very simplified and cohesive structure for your illustration, the characters will read regardless of the colors. So now I'm investing plenty of my time to research and to study and to look to other artists in terms of like oil painter masters or any other artists that have a really strong sense of value. And that's something that I haven't put the time to actually break down the values and break down my composition in a way that all the characters are reading. And that's one of the struggles I had for a long time. And I don't know if you have seen my updates on Instagram, where I have fixed two artworks, Candela and Chun-Li. And I went back to some of my older illustrations. Well, not that old actually. I did it last year, and I just wanted to go back to study myself and correct myself now with a little bit of better knowledge in terms of value. And I recognize on my side that I didn't pay the attention I should have. I guess I didn't think that was that important. But the more I'm painting and coloring, I feel that my sense of the illustration and how things could be placed, it could be better. And that's why I did this illustration of Alita, to try to push myself to create and mix the colors together, try to see how can I create a nice color blending. And in and it's not like I'm blending the colors so it's smooth, more like blending and overlaying, like some transparency with the colors. And that's what I did during this stage, which was hard because I tend to focus on detail and I shouldn't be focusing on details. And those are the things I learned from this. I shouldn't be like detailing a few areas, but I kind of wanted to solve that, to have a sense that the artwork was progressing in a better way. And the best way to approach and improve is to do a lot of studies, quick studies of 3 to 5 minutes. That's why I learned from this illustrator artist that has a class in Schoolism, and it's amazing that feeling that you get when you are missing something, you're missing a piece that could make your artwork so much better. And I feel like I found that piece, and I don't feel great because I feel I neglected that study of values and understand the importance of it. I didn't give the importance. So now I feel like I need to practice, I need to study, I need to improve myself, and to get to that point. I thought my problems were colors, because some of my colors could be better, but actually it's not. It's the arrangement of values and how actually light works. You need to know those fundamentals, and I guess I rely too much on my own way of coloring. And when you can do that, I mean, if your art style is more simplistic and it doesn't have that many like rendering and lighting effects and all that, you don't need to go to that point. But it's good to understand that, and that's what I'm doing right now. I actually enrolled into a class called Color and Light in this place called C2 Academy. It's very close to my house, and this guy is a master. So I'm gonna put some time back to it, and I want to improve like properly. I want to really improve and have my shit together. And it's amazing because it's like I could have done this like many years ago, and now I'm realizing that. So it's just a lesson for everybody who is listening to this, that you always have, there's something to learn. You always have something extra to learn that can make your work better. It doesn't matter where you are. There's not a point of like completion. Okay, I completed everything and I finished this video game, now I can draw. It's never ending. So that's one of the things I feel like the importance of having the chance to study in a school that is that has a high level of education, that you can actually get that information and do it properly. And now looking back, I think that's the piece I was missing. So that was my struggle. And talking about the piece of here of Alita, I started adding more lighting because I want to bring the overall shape of the main character forward. And I did that, and I guess I was detailing too much. I was too focused on details now that I think about it, because I wanted to see how I could make those areas work better, when I should have been thinking more about the overall shape and having those shapes like set, and then I can paint whatever I want at the top. So that's my learning experience from this artwork. And so I went through all of that. Notice that I started losing some of the line art. My line art is not as strong as in other illustrations I have done in the past. And that was my point. How can I change that? How can I improve this illustration and make it nice? Plus, I really like the character of Alita. I watched the movie in Japan, and it was super dope. So I really wanted to do this illustration for myself. I'm also doing some roller blading, skating. So I like roller blading. So I really like that Alita does that in the movie. Plus, the character is really kick-ass anyways. And as I go, I start adding more light. I think about where the light will be hitting different planes of the character. And I go over again plenty of times and go over, and then come back and change it. I go to Painter, and these are the artwork that I changed. Some of the changes I did from the illustration. I was showing it to some of the people from the live stream, how I changed the artwork really too fast. And this is the Chun-Li. That's another one that I changed. It doesn't make sense, but it's like a few things, but it makes the whole thing work better. And now I'm painting more of the hair. Even though those parts of the hair might not show, I kind of wanted to practice anyway. I wanted to practice on some hair rendering with the illustration. But again, I cannot emphasize this more. To be able to plan ahead, to construct, to have a map, to lay out where the shadows are gonna be, where the light is gonna be placed is really important. I feel I made decisions that I thought, well, this is gonna look good if I do this, or this reminds me of this illustration, I'm gonna add this effect here. But it's very free, it's very free and very open. And if you have too many options, you can over render and have a lot of things going on in the artwork, and there's no priority. And that's the art of the value and the composition. You have to have a priority. What is the focal point, and be very simplistic in your approach, which is hard. It's always easy to add a lot of colors and add a lot of lines and add a lot of effects, but if the main purpose of the image is not well established, it's gonna be hard. And I'm saying all of this because I already went through that yesterday. I did a painting and it took me like 8 hours, and I was depressed at the end because I was not taking this advice that I'm saying right now. So I'm passing this to you. Is to plan better. If you're gonna do like final illustrations like this, you have to plan. And I went with my gut feeling. It's good to do that too, to go with your gut feeling. But once you know and you have plenty of practice of the course of value and composition, once you have that, then you can be more free with your colors and everything. It's like having a building and then you cannot start painting the walls if your building is not, properly, like has a nice like a structure and support to start. If you don't have any of that, you don't have the stairs, how are you gonna go to the next floor? You cannot paint the walls. So if you start painting the walls and you paint another wall, and when you look back, there's no other wall because you haven't even put that wall there, then you'll be like, oh, now I have to go back and put that wall. And then, okay, now I'm gonna color. And then you color and realize, oh, I need the stairs to go to the other floor. So it has to have a process. And even though this is a coloring process, I say coloring process because that's what I did here. I went through a process of coloring this, even though it could have been better. But that's the thing I learned a lot from this illustration. Not all of the illustrations are to like show off. Oh, I did this amazing illustration and cool. It's like this illustration is for me to learn how can I make things better. How can I rearrange and render parts of the image in a different way that is not my usual, even though it has my signature style. Because I want people who like my work to like what I'm doing. So I still keeping my style, but integrating that painterly and style into my illustration. I hope you guys can understand what I'm talking about here. It's more about my struggle and things that I think about. And the solution to this is taking more painting classes and doing studies in different media, digital, anything, just to do a lot of studies and practice. And that's what I'm gonna be focusing the next weeks, months, whatever it takes. I'm gonna be improving that, and hopefully I wanted to show you that as I go in this journey. For me, is I guess it was harder because I didn't have a guidance. I didn't go to like a school to understand this until like later on, and I was there for a year, and then later on I've been applying all that knowledge to my work. So I guess when you have a certain way of doing things, you know how to do that way, and then later on you realize that there are better ways, and you have to be like open-minded to accept and to change how you are and how you can improve. So for me, that was the struggle that I'm going at this moment. Even though I'm happy with this illustration, I really want to improve like a lot. I see different artists that I know that were starting and they got a little bit better and they got a little better, and now they're really, really good. So when I see them, I was like, maybe I'm not putting the the amount of time I should be putting on. So I always have that pressure anyways. And as for the illustration, you can see how the color blue light works perfectly. I tried to add that cinematic lighting in the back of Alita. I think that's the main line that will bring the composition together, because it's going to be a nice read from that blue light. And then having those colors, from the left side is blue, cold colors, and then the right is more warm. And if I have warm, then I can have more contrast, and that was my purpose with the main face of Alita. Well, not the main one, the background face of Alita. This one I had other struggles that I needed to change. Sometimes the drawing looks good as a drawing, but when you're painting, it doesn't make sense sometimes. So I needed to add more structure, make sure that what I'm painting here makes sense with the character. Does it portray the character as he should be, or I need to add extra structure, let's say. So I corrected myself, painted a lot, pretty detailed, for this illustration. Tomorrow I'll see it printed, because this is gonna be sold as a print that you can buy on my Etsy soon and on my website. So you can get this print of this artwork, and I hope if you like this illustration, you get one copy of it, so you can see what I did. You can see it here, but in paper, it's good to see once you print it out what was the result. Did I actually need to add all those details that I did there? And that's what I have to. That's what I'm looking forward to see and improve. So the coloring is, I did this in Painter and Photoshop, and I added all the techniques that I knew. Adding soft airbrush, and some painting, and then some texture, and then I changed it a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have the last part of this recording. I thought it was recording, and the software crashed, and I don't have the last part of this illustration. But this is plenty, so you can see most of the process that I did. But the rest of the things that I did is just to keep working on details and arrange better my lighting and add more details overall. And you will see that in the next few seconds. You will see this, because this is everything I could record for this illustration. So a lot of decisions, a lot of testing, and overall I feel like I'm really happy with this illustration. When I finished, I was like, I finished, but I added so much time. So yeah, this is the final illustration. Hope you like what you have seen here. Probably it was not the best painting process of this illustration, but I just wanted to voice some of my concerns and my thinking behind this illustration, so you can have a background or have an idea of what I'm going through with my art, and understand my side from everything that I'm doing at this time. So I hope you like this, and thank you for supporting my Patreon, and thank you for being there all this time, and thank you for listening to my words. I don't know how many people are listening to this, but if you're listening to this, I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me, because I can actually study and I can actually improve and paint and sell my work. So that makes me fucking happy. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you during the next video. Goodbye.